Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked out American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's going on, everybody? Lead meteorologist John Choquette here for our Friday edition of our forecast, leading into the weekend here. Talk about some hail, some wind, and maybe even chance for some tropical systems start going into next week. We'll cover all that. Thanks as always, C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and the American Contractor Show. There we go. Check them out in the description below, as always, or within our Linktree link. So we could see some hail today, possibly in the Denver area, as well as a couple other areas across the country. It's very possible we could see a couple storms in the Front Range this afternoon. More wind. We've had a bunch of wind the last couple of days, and that trend looks to continue, albeit a little more scattered than we had last couple of days for many folks east of the Mississippi River. And finally, we're checking on the tropics. We got tropical depression Fred and another system looking likely behind Fred here in the Atlantic. We are getting towards that peak of hurricane season. Things are starting to really kind of pick up here. So the only upcoming event we have now that the IRE has completed, at least in the near term, is the Thunder Road Race to Recovery. You guys know the drill. It's in the description below. You want to be a sponsor, you want to race, you can go check us out there, sign up. It's on September 15th in Norman, Oklahoma. All proceeds go to the roofers in recovery. So come check that out September 15th here in Norman, Oklahoma. Should be a great time, some prizes. Cards go quick. So jumping into yesterday's storm reports, like I had mentioned, quite a bit of wind scattered around the country, all the way from the East Coast here in Massachusetts and Connecticut, even up by Maine, and then all the way across the center of the country here, and even back towards Vegas. And look at that, one lone little tornado over in the Houston area on just a little, we call them mesoscale accidents of a couple boundaries combining together, making a weak little tornado in the Houston area. The main focus of the wind, though, Pennsylvania had quite a bit of wind, some pretty intense winds here in the Springfield, Massachusetts metro, as well as quite a bit of hail in Kansas. Yeah, we had some hail for the first time in a while here, especially in the Kansas City area. In the Olathe, Kansas, I believe we had some $250 size hail, some bigger hail out in the rural sections of Kansas, and that should continue today, but instead across Colorado. So storm reports yesterday, one tornado, we had 37 large hail reports, and look at that, high wind, 337. That brings our totals up. We finally got over 4,500 hail reports, finally, and here in August, a little slow, of course, and the wind numbers have really gone up quite a bit the last couple of weeks with all of the big storms we've had. We're actually kind of within 5,000 now of what we were at last year. Just to note, the high wind last year was near record levels due to the really crazy events such as the derecho that happened a couple days ago, a year ago, along with some other big events. But we're trending way behind 2020. You guys know the drill at this point. So currently across the country, we just have some pop-up showers across the southeast. Some storms beginning to form here in Oklahoma. Some rain in eastern sections of New Mexico. Otherwise, fairly quiet across the country. We have a cold front sagging to the south here, and that is going to fire off most of the storms this afternoon. And we got to go down here into the Cuba region, where this is technically a tropical system that looks pretty awful, but this is Tropical Depression Fred. We'll be checking in on Fred here a little bit later in the forecast. Temperatures across the country, it's August here across the lower 48, cooler than again, you can tell where that cold front is. It's 79 degrees in Kansas City, but 89 in Dallas. And you can see it's going to come through New York City. It's 90 there. It's actually the hot spot in the country right now, which is something I'm not used to saying here in August. So what are we expecting for later on this afternoon? Well, the future radar does show that you have a lot of storms beginning to form after about 4 o'clock everywhere from here back in the Texas Panhandle to Oklahoma to Missouri and into the Ohio River Valley across the Cincinnati area, and even off into the mid-Atlantic states like Maryland and Pennsylvania could see some storms through this evening. We get to about 8 o'clock. And more activity here across Pennsylvania, up into Canada as well. Quite a bit of rain. I think this is going to be mostly pretty heavy rain with some gusty winds across central Oklahoma. So here in Oklahoma City, you could see some rain this evening, and could see some storms as well across Kentucky. And as we get into the overnight hours, things just continue to push off to the south and to the east. Each model run we have here seems to kind of sprinkle different areas with storms, so it's a very broad, lower end risk for a good chunk of the country this evening and into the overnight hours today. A little bit further off to the west here, we do have a chance for some storms again, like in the Denver area, where of course the models have been deciding, now that we're close to the video, we're not going to show anything in Denver, but that's fine. We'll still have that risk there, so it's a lower end risk for today across the Front Range. Chance for some storms. It's monsoon season in the desert southwest, getting some rain across the Phoenix area and other sections of Arizona. And that will wind down this evening after midnight or so. So what does that hail forecast look like for today? We're at 2 areas we're looking at here. First of which we have over by Colorado and into Wyoming, and the other one here in sections of the Ohio River Valley, where again the most recent model runs weren't showing a whole heck of a lot, so you have that lower end chance. Louisville to Columbus to Cape Girardeau, you have a low chance of that quarter to $half size hail, generally after about 4 o'clock local time to about an hour or two after sunset, so about 9-10 o'clock p.m. And then off here to the west, across the Front Range, low chances from Denver to Cheyenne. I think Cheyenne and sections down towards Fort Collins, you have a better chance of any storms do form. And of course, past couple model runs have been kind of ho-hum on it. But if anything does form, their best chance of seeing maybe some ping pong ball to golf ball size hail would be in the Cheyenne area, off to the west, down towards Fort Collins. Further to the south towards Denver, I think is a little more challenging to get hail a little bit bigger than that, again, especially because the downward trend the models have been showing. So that low chance, quarter, $half, maybe a ping pong ball or two here across the Denver metro. And for wind, it's a much bigger area. We have 3 areas we're looking at here. We got monsoon season down in Arizona. We have the storm threat across Colorado and Wyoming. And then this very long area, but this is where a cold front's going to be, where you bring those cooler temperatures across most of the country for this weekend. So from Oklahoma City all the way up into Montreal, Canada, you have that chance of any storms that can get going, real gusty winds up to about 65 to 70 miles an hour from Little Rock, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Girardeau, Cincinnati, Louisville. You guys know the drill, all the way up to Montreal, Canada. So a lot of folks could see some storms here or there. Not a crazy risk. Again, I got the green icons all across the country. So when they say Denver has a low chance, sometimes it gets a storm. That is true, Derek Lindsay. We have Denver is notably kind of challenging to forecast for. So we throw that chance in there, and you guys, if you do your hail dances good enough, maybe we'll actually get some big time storms later this afternoon. Denver, low chance for that gusty wind potential. I think we have a better chance for that hail, if anything. And then down here by Phoenix, that's going to be the name of the game. Monsoon season, heavy rain, gusty winds, and then they pretty much rain themselves out, and then you reset for the next day. So going to your city forecast for Denver, if anything does happen 5 to 9 p.m. local time, maybe ping pong ball size hail is your maximum hail size. Overall, low chance of any hail at all. So you got that low chance for quarters and low, probably very low chance of anything over ping pong ball size. And going into tomorrow, this weekend looks pretty quiet for hail. Not too much to be expected for severe hail. Could be some gusty winds in a couple areas like monsoon season over in the Phoenix area, along with the potential for what will likely be Tropical Storm Fred going through Florida for this weekend, which we do have here. Tropical Depression Fred right now, 35 miles an hour for your max wind speed. It is just hugging the coast here in Cuba, and that is not allowing for much strengthening. There's a lot of mountains here along the island of Cuba, and that really hinders the ability for the storm to get its act together. So by the time Fred pulls away from Cuba and gets close to Key West on Saturday morning, we could have winds up to 40 miles an hour, be back to a tropical storm. And through the weekend, it looks like Fred's going to stay just off the coast of the peninsula and make landfall in the Panhandle on Monday. Winds maybe around 40. This is going to be a heavy rainmaker, maybe a couple gusty winds. Nothing too crazy. This is no hurricane. Even if it exceeds expectations, it would be winds around 60 instead of 40. So I don't think we're going to see a hurricane with Fred making landfall and racing off to the north here. So you see by Wednesday morning, likely going to be a decaying system across sections of Tennessee. This is another system that just formed this morning. We're calling it Invest 95L, potential Cyclone 7. 35 mile per hour winds, and this is what the models are showing here. So by Monday, we have a pretty widespread already, a couple of models showing it going into the Caribbean, some of them showing it staying in the Atlantic, and others are doing basically what Fred did of the path of most resistance. We're going to hit every single piece of land, keep it pretty weak. We'll have to keep a close eye on this. Again, the cone of uncertainty gets pretty wide here as we get towards the end of next week. And it's very possible that if it stays north of Puerto Rico, stays north of Hispaniola, stays north of Cuba, a much better chance for development beyond just a tropical storm and possibly a hurricane. And that would put Florida in its sights this time next week. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on this. Of course, we are in the tropics. This is now pretty much peak season, so we will be tracking this with you guys, especially with the potential for severe weather outside of tropical systems being pretty low going into next week. So that's all we got for you guys on this Friday and what we have for the rest of this week. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all that jazz. All Hail Trace at See First on Facebook. Click the bell, subscribe, do whatever you guys got to do to be notified when storms happen, especially once we do get a little bit more into hurricane season. We will be out chasing any sort of hurricanes that do happen. That's a longer duration event, more exciting stuff, so you guys can kind of come in and out of coverage with that. And as always, give us a call at 855-334-4245. Any comments, questions, or concerns? You're new here, first time watching, you want to find out more, we're here answering the phones. Happy to talk to you and get you through maybe a training if you guys are having some difficulties with the app. You can email us as well if you're not a big fan talking on the phone, or visit a website for more details. You can talk to us directly on the website as well. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you again on Monday at 12 p.m. Central Time like we do every single day of the week. Have a great day, everybody.